Hello and welcome back to the Neon Juno booth / Fringe Festival here at the CogX Festival 2021. This is a global gathering of leaders and executives and everybody interested in tech or creatives and activists, all around that concept of transformation. And over on the main stage, there's a lot of debate and discussion about technology and AI and teams in the future. But over here, we're looking to blend some of that with other aspects of leadership, and in particular around personal leadership. And so over each of these 3 days, we've asked a very special friend of Neon Juno, Monika Bammi, to come and support us. And in her business, which is around Master Divine Health, she helps people with just that question of personal leadership, personal balance and resilience and fortitude in a number of areas. And so as we've reached the end of each day, so Monika's kindly joined us here to just help us to understand a little bit more about ourselves, to take the tone down a little bit here in the UK, calm us down, if you're listening in the US, to build us back up, ready for a new day. So Monika's been giving different insights each day, and today we're looking at chakras. Tell us more.
Hi everyone, my name is Monika and I'm the founder of Master Divine Health and Wellbeing. Today I just wanted to, I guess I talk about many things, but what I'm most passionate about is talking about chakras, talking about your energies. And we all know after years and years of research that we're all made of energies. And if our energies are out of sync, you would feel the impact emotionally as well as physically. So there are 7 main energy points in our body, and I'll show you a quick picture of those so you know where they are and where they're located. So here's your crown chakra, which is just above your head, then which is in color is golden white, then your third eye chakra, which is between your eyebrows, indigo in color. Then you got your throat chakra, which is in your throat area, it's blue in color. Your heart chakra is in green color, where your heart is. Your solar plex is just above your belly button, yellow color. Sacral below your belly button, orange in color. And then you got your root chakra, which is red in color and is right at the bottom of your tailbone. So these chakras, it's like if you imagine a round ball of energy, and this energy is flowing nicely and even. And if that ball, right, round, nice and round circle, if it goes overstretched, that means your energies are overflowing and your chakra is in overactive mode. But when that squashed down and it goes narrow and narrow and narrow, that means your energies are underactive and your chakras are out of sync. So if they're overactive, it has an impact. And if it's underactive, it also has an impact. So it needs to be nice and round. So I'll give you an example. What does overactive chakra means? Overactive chakra, let's say if your throat chakra is overactive, which means there's a lot more energy going through, you tend to express your feelings in a very negative manner. You will scream and shout at people, you'll get annoyed quickly, and you'll just say whatever you want to say in anger. But if that was underactive, you tend to hold on to your emotions. You tend to bottle things up and you don't feel you're being able to say what you really want to say and express your feelings. We tend to grind or clench our teeth because we're getting very anxious and we're very stressed. So we're sort of holding on to those emotions and we feel that we're not coping as well as we would like to. And that's the underactive and overactive chakras. So I'll run through a very small, very brief as to what chakra manages what. And if any of those chakras are out of sync, how does that make you feel emotionally as well as physically? So your crown chakra, when people come to me and I check their chakras, if the crown chakra is out of sync, it could be that you're sort of struggling with lack of guidance or lack of direction. People tend to feel sort of a brain fog and they get into daydreaming, they zone out very quickly. So if they're struggling to focus, concentrate, they're sort of zoning out because there's too much happening in head and the head is very, very busy. causes headaches and migraines, and it sort of causes light sensitivity to life. So people who might go out in daylight, their eyes might feel tired or droopy, and then they tend to get irritated with noise or sound. But if that same chakra is balanced, you tend to feel where you're going in life. You know exactly where you're going, what direction, what path you're on, and then you know how to prioritize your life to get to that path. And it's as simple as that. Your third eye chakra, if that is out of sync, you struggle to, again, focus or concentrate. You tend to think about the past on and off, and you also worry about the future. And then you sort of keep going, dipping into the past, and you worry about the future. And physical symptoms, it could impact on your eyes, your hearing, your ears, sort of your scalp, and your spinal issues. Throat chakra, which we already talked about, that if that is out of balance, we tend to hold on to emotions and we tend to bottle things up. We clench and grind our teeth, and it sort of gives you the sinuses problem. When it's balanced, we talked about that you literally can express what you want, how you want, and you express it beautifully. It's not that you're not angry or annoyed with people. Because you're balancing your chakras, you're realigning your energies, you have managed to release the anger, the frustration, the negative emotions. And if they're released and if they're not there, every time you want to express your feelings, it comes from a good place. So you don't need to hold on to emotions because there is nothing to hold on to. And you say, you know what? Yeah, I want to say that. And I had a client, she worked in a temporary job, and she was really, really annoyed with her colleagues, and she thought she was working harder than everybody else, yet she's a temporary staff member and she was also in a redundancy pool. She said, Monika, I want to say that to my manager. This is how I feel, and this is not working, this is not working, this is not working. And I said, just wait 3-4 more sessions. Have 3 more sessions of chakra balancing. After that, when your energies are reasonably balanced, off you go and say what you really want to say. After the 4 sessions, she came to me for 5th treatment, and she said, I'm so proud of me. She said, I managed to say what I wanted to say to my manager, and I told her how I felt and what we can do to improve our working practices. She said, I moved out of redundancy pool from a temporary job into a permanent job. Now that is a power of great communication. But if your chakras are out of sync, she could easily go to a manager and say, this is how I'm feeling, right? Okay, you're the first person to get out. So there you go, power of aligning your energies. Heart chakra. When our heart chakra is out of sync, we tend to have sort of guard up. Either we've been hurt in the past, or we protect ourselves, or we don't want to get hurt again. So we don't tend to let love in, and we don't tend to give love, and we don't sort of feel the passion and the compassion towards others. When that chakra is balanced, we tend to sort of feel, because we feel full, we want to give. And because we feel safe and protected, we don't need to protect ourselves because we're not vulnerable. We're emotionally strong people. We're not vulnerable anymore, which means we can literally open those gates and let love in and give love. Again, a lot of women will come to me and say, I keep attracting the wrong people in my life. I don't want those relationships, yet I seem to keep attracting the same people. Why does that happen? That happens because if you're on this vibration, which is slightly lower vibration, where you are not feeling stable, comfortable, confident, and your chakras are out of sync, you can attract same people at the same level. But when you balance your chakras, you're upping your vibration step by step by step. And when you're up here, you attract people at the same level as you, emotionally strong people. And those are the people you want in your life. And those are the people you say that you deserve. So I always say, balance your chakras, then go out. And then you will find the right love that you want and you deserve. Solar plex, which is just above your belly button, if that's out of sync, we tend to feel very angry, very frustrated. We get annoyed very quickly. We struggle to switch off and we struggle to fall asleep. We also tend to crave sugar a lot more when we're out on the chakra, and then we struggle to have a stronger willpower or motivation. And that throws off your digestive system. So people tend to complain about IBS, indigestion, acid reflux, or bloating type of symptoms because your emotions are riling up. Your sacral chakra, which is just below your belly button, is to do with your sexuality, is to do with your relationships, is to do with your creativity. So a lot of people who are in creative jobs thinking, I have that creative block. Or a lot of people who are in relationship, they will tend to feel that the libido is low, or there is some sort of an issue with regards to sexuality. And you tend to feel a lot of emotions going up and down like a yo-yo. 1 minute you're good and second minute you're not so good. And that impact on your hormonal issues. So women tend to have issues with their period, or if they're going through the menopause symptoms seems to be quite extreme, hot flushes, feeling mood swings and things like that. But when you balance those chakras, it does relieve some of the hot flushes and your mood swings, and it does regulate your periods. Well, that's what my client says. Your root chakra, your last chakra, the most important. I guess all chakras are very important, but root chakra tend to be the most important chakra because it's to do with your stability. It's to do with your certainty. And if we don't feel certain, so when your chakra is out of sync, we tend not to feel certain in life. We then tend not to feel stable. We don't feel we are where we really want to be in life. Now imagine if you're not where you want to be in your life, how restless and anxious you would feel because you're still trying to get to where you want to be. That could be financially, that could be in a relationship, that could be in your own me time, or you're lacking guidance or path. You're going to feel very restless because you're not content within yourself. You don't feel stable or certainty. When that happens, we tend to become very indecisive. Shall I do this or shall I do that? We're always second guessing ourselves because we're not sure of the decision we're going to make. We're not confident in our own ability to make those decisions. We also tend to sort of feel, at times, we feel lonely. We feel insecure about something. A lot of my clients will say, I feel insecure because I don't think I am good enough in my job. Or they will say, I don't deserve that relationship. I think it's too good to be true and it's going to end soon enough. So we feel very insecure. We feel very lonely. We tend to worry about money and family. So those are your root chakra symptoms. And if that stays out of balance, then it shows physical symptoms, which are pain in your lower back, sciatica issue, constipation or diarrhea, or pain in your hips, knees, ankles, and your feet. A lot of people who struggle with stability tend to have a lot of pain in their lower back where we hold tension, because when we're worrying about family, money, this, that, we're holding the tension in our back and we're having those muscles in spasm. So tend to feel pain in the back and also in their knees, because knees represent your stability in life. So those are your chakras. And obviously when your root chakra is balanced, you feel confident. You trust yourself, you believe yourself, you know exactly where you're going. You feel the certainty, regardless of how little and how much you have in your life, you're very much content. And when you go from content, you can attract other things very easily. But if you're not content, you're working harder to get what you want.
Thank you. That is it's fascinating on so many levels, and then kind of one of the things that struck me as you were talking about the impact that each of those has is that your emotion can be out of balance. You're feeling this emotionally, and you're feeling it in terms of physical symptoms. But how many people actually know and understand that that's because their energy is out of balance? I remember my own experience as an executive and just suffering from chronic stress for years, really, and as you were describing each of the chakras, kind of like, oh yeah, that rings a bell. Oh yeah, that rings a bell. And for me, it had always been, well, it's their fault, or it's my fault, or there's all these other rational reasons why that is. I don't know that I would ever have looked kind of deep inside.
And a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, if they're having a rough day, it's because I was having a rough day, that's why I wasn't having good night's sleep. or there's always a reason why they're going through certain symptoms. But if you check your energies and if you balance your energies, because you're balanced, that says something about you. Because we are made of energies. And if your energies are so ruffled and so depleted, it's going to have an impact on your emotions. It's going to have an impact on your physical and your emotional and mental health. But when your energies are in harmony, you're going to feel the peace. You're going to feel the contentment, and you're going to feel, you know what? Actually, I don't mind my life. I love my life, because you're in harmony. And when your head and heart works together, you create magic. But if there's a conflict in here, you're not going to go far in life. So I always tell people, it's so easy to balance your energies, and it doesn't take weeks and weeks and months and years to balance those energies. It takes few weeks and you're literally good to go. And then you never need to balance your energy in a full series of treatment. You just do a top up every so often to keep in check with your energies. And this is why, in fact, I created an event, which is a live event that I'm doing on 26th of June, Saturday, 4 o'clock UK time, where I will be talking about something that I similarly talked about on here, but I will also be teaching a technique, how to balance your own energy. So you don't have to come to therapists like me, which people love coming to me because it's having a face-to-face treatment is very different. But I will be teaching live how to balance your energy, and we will be practicing that technique. Then you can do the technique all by yourself and balance your own energies. Never need to think, why am I tired? Why am I lack of energy? Why am I always feeling overwhelmed? Why am I stressed and anxious? None of that, because we don't need to live life like that. It's stressful.
So can you, without breaking confidentiality, can you share maybe another example of where the work that you've done in terms of rebalancing someone's chakras has had a big impact on their life, whether in work or in out of work?
Yes, if you start me with examples, we will be here till the middle of the night, because I have hundreds and thousands of them. So I'll give a different example for different situations. I had a client and she said, Monika, I don't feel connected with my partner. We don't have any conversation we used to have. He has his own way. He has his own friends. He spends all his time there. I am doing whatever I'm doing. I don't feel connected. I said, we can't change your partner, but let's work on your energies. So we worked on the energies and we did few treatments, balanced her chakras. And then the fourth treatment, she came to me, she said, I had such nice conversations with my partner. And my partner knew that you're going to see Monika. He said, here, I cooked something for her. And that was nice, because he thought, she's really nice. I'm connecting with my partner. And she was loving the conversation she was having with him. It was nothing wrong with the relationship or the person she was in. It's just when we are out of sync, we end up feeling that, we end up feeding that, we end up picking on other people to say, you are this and you're that, you're that. But let's just balance our energies and see if it is us or somebody else. Another client I had, he was a student and he was having 5-6 panic attacks a day and 5-6 panic attacks at night. Now imagine if you have that many panic attacks, there is no social life, there's no interaction, you're constantly stressed, thinking when the next one's going to happen. We did few treatments, and on the fourth treatment, he came back. After the fourth treatment, he came for fifth treatment, and he said, Monika, when I left you for the last treatment, I was crying while I was walking away. I said, what did I do to you? Usually after 4 sessions, people feel good. Why were you crying? Have I messed up with your head? He said, no, I was crying because I was so happy that I had the feeling of content and peace. And I thought I would never have that feeling in my life. He said, that's why the tears were rolling down my eyes, my cheeks, is because I had the feeling, and I had the feeling after such a long time. So he did chakra balancing, and I gave him a 40-second technique, which is also in part of my course that we're giving 50% off. That he did that technique as well as chakra balancing. And after 2 weeks, and he came to me He said, I have not had any panic attacks. I made friends. I enjoy talking to my friend. Before he was scared. Now he said, made friend. He said, we all get together. We talk about you, what you do at your practice. We all meditate together. And he was glowing. And that's when you make that type of difference in somebody's life, it's over and beyond satisfaction, over and beyond. And I could sit here and give you 1,000 more.
So perhaps instead, maybe suggestions or practical strategies for many of the people in the audience here, and many of the clients that I work with on a one-to-one basis, they are representing a team. There might be a small team of 5 or 6 people in the business that they're leading. What practical, how would you even begin to bring some of these concepts into the workplace, or indeed should you bring any of these into the workplace?
I worked as a manager for years, and I know how important it is to be a good manager, to be a good leader, and also to lead a team that is up to the mark, up to the standard, but also happy at work, because that was important. If you have unhappy team, they're not going to deliver what you want them to deliver, no matter what you say. But if you have happy team, and as a leader, if you lead by example, you can't fail. So when I was a manager, I always led by example. I would do what I asked somebody else to do. And in fact, I will do over and beyond what I expect somebody else to do. My standards were reasonably high, because when you're working with homeless people, when you're working with people with domestic violence issues and drug and alcohol, you want your staff members to deliver the best of service, because you don't get opportunity again and again to serve the person that come to your doorstep to look for support. And I was a housing support manager, so you're supporting people with those issues. And to have that team and to have that passion and compassion towards your own client, you got to build them up. You got to give them what they need, regards to tools and resources and skills, and love and care, that to say, if you ever need me, I'm here. My doors are open for you. Come and find me. They were there. Every time I needed them, to count on them, they were there. Anytime they needed me, I was there. So it's not one-way street where manager does all the work or the team does all the work. You got to work together. You got to work as a family. So when there is a need, you can count on each other. And sometimes managers can come very high-powered with ego to say, right, you go ahead and do that. And then sometimes they micromanage. You got to work with your team. And that's the best advice I would give, because that's how I worked. I remember once there was a situation that every team has targets, and we needed to hit the targets, and we had 2 weeks, and we were way far away from our target, and there was no way we could have reached those targets even if we worked the whole year. 2 weeks. So that's, you can compare something I can't reach in year, I had 2 weeks to reach. And when your funding is relying on your target, and if you don't reach it, it's going to have an impact on your future funding and the support you offer to those young people. I said to team, right, let's get together. I haven't got this support. I haven't got manager. There's no manager. That team leader is off. So many staff members are off. We're short of staff, but we need to reach those targets. And without those, we're going to be in a predicament. Everybody, because we worked as a team and a family, everybody worked over and beyond. They worked more hours than they needed to. None of them complained, and we achieved a target and a lot more than the target. So it wasn't like scraping it to achieve it. We achieved it, and we achieved a lot more. How? Because we were there for each other and we understood each other, and it wasn't like you do this, you do this. And in fact, they were coming back with suggestion, Monika, let's do this, let's do this. And they were so excited. Who gets excited over challenges and targets?
So in a way, rather than bring some of the elements of chakras into the workplace, focus in on your own personal leadership, on balancing yourself, and that will come through in the team that you lead. It will come in naturally.
Absolutely. So if you're a leader and if you're managing a lot of members in your team, harmonize your energies, because you've got to be in a good place. And if you can offer that also service, say, for example, I go to many corporate organizations and I offer this service to them, where the manager will have the treatments, or they will do an online course to manage the energies, but they will also offer it to the staff member. And then nobody's working hard. You're literally working in harmonious environment without having the clash and without having those little cliques that people have in their teams. Two people are talking here, two people are talking in that corner about the organization, and that is not a good environment. So the online course, in fact, serves that purpose, that if they did that course and they've given it to the team members, the magic toolkit, they literally can create the harmony without spending hours and pennies on mediation and occupational therapy, all sorts of things. And again, they're all important in their own places.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, well, thank you for our session this evening. It's been enlightening, for sure.
Thank you for having me.
And tomorrow we've got one more session at 4:45, where you'll be rounding off our 3 days, helping us to just bring everything together, harmonize everything that we've learned, integrate it into our next steps. So I really look forward to that. What are you covering tomorrow?
Oh, let's leave it as a surprise.
I love it.
Because we obviously done everything differently. Yesterday was a meditation, today was chakra. Who knows what's gonna bring tomorrow?
Who knows what tomorrow brings? I'm sure there's a song that goes along those lines.
It'll be something for the harmonious levels and serenity and calming and tranquility. It'll be something good.
That'd be amazing. Well, whatever it is, I'm sure we're in for another inspirational talk. So thank you, Monika. Thank you indeed. It's been a delight. And so for the audience here, we're going to have some show notes in the description as they're loaded up onto YouTube, so you'll be able to follow Monika and Master Divine Health's work, as well as links to those all important online courses that you mentioned. So for now, thank you indeed.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks for listening.